All right, guys. So what we're going to do today, we are going to talk about so just by raising hands, who read the assignment? Almost everybody. Excellent. Okay. So if you haven't yet, or if you're brand new, and I know some of you just barely responded to me that you want to be in this group, that's fine. So for those who have read it, let's get the conversation started. For those who have not, that doesn't mean you can't chime in. Chime in if we cover a topic that you want, you're passionate about. Time to chime in. Even if you didn't reference this book, you can still talk about some items. So I realized the just before chapter 1, the preface here, nothing incredibly groundbreaking information. Kind of just set up as reasons as to why we need stuff like this. He talked about how information is just available at our fingertips, and that we have resources now that haven't existed, and we need to take advantage of these types of things. Does anybody have something to say in regards to something that stood out to them in the first couple of pages?
Sorry.
Yeah, me neither. That's okay. All right, chapter 1. So I'm going to stop talking. This is where you guys take over. Let's stay on page 3 because I for sure have notes. Does anybody want to say anything that stuck out to them on page 3?
I'll go. Hi, I'm Tracy Baldrack, live in Connecticut. Hi, Kevin. Thanks for doing this. I think it's an awesome idea. So I do it audibly. So I did buy a book here, but I'm just going to go off my notes because the book, literally, I just opened it up 2 seconds ago. But I just love the part how it's just such a reminder that if we're going to mentor others, then we have to worry about ourselves first. And I don't know if I speak for everyone on this call, but last year, at the end of last year, I really realized when we talk about the vital behaviors, the first vital behavior for me that always gets pushed off to the wayside is personal development. And it's like, I get my workout in, I'm making sure I'm inviting, I'm doing all my business stuff. And if I'm too tired at the end of the day to do personal development, it just isn't getting done. And then I'm not growing, and then I can't mentor. So I don't know if anyone's read The Miracle Morning for network marketers, but that was a game changer for me, where this year I've literally, so many successful people in our company, so many successful coaches keep talking about how when they wake up, they go straight to either meditation, prayer, personal development before they touch a device. And that was not me last year. And so for 10 days now, I am not touching my phone or my laptop until I have my Bible study done and my personal development done. And then I can present myself to my business. And I just already feel like it's made such a difference in my mindset. So thank you for this. And the mentorship, working on ourselves before others, that's exactly what personal development does.
Love that. Love that. I love that you started out with that initial quote. If you want to succeed as a mentor, first seek to understand yourself and others. And I'll even start at the first line here where it says, most people who desire success focus almost entirely on themselves, not others. And I thought, I circled the word desire. People who don't understand. People who desire success, but who aren't successful, focus on themselves. They need to understand that success comes when focusing on others. Love that. Anybody else? What else do you have to say with this? And if you did audio, chime in wherever. Chime with wherever you think we are. I know some of you did audio, but you still have notes with this. Somebody else.
I can say I just had my one-on-one with Kevin 2 minutes ago. So he and I were talking about the need to really understand who you want to recruit and be on your team anyway. So I think that's, if you want to succeed as a mentor as well, you have to understand who you are and that you have to speak directly to that person and just cater to that and stop trying to teach, preach to the masses. So that's what stood out to me, is really being authentic in every way, shape, or form to myself. That's as quiet as we're going to be on this end. So that's all I really had to say on that one. Okay, I'll fix it. Just a minute.
Okay, somebody else. And you guys relate this to your business. I realize this first call, we're trying to get used to things, but this is where we can be raw, honest, open. This is a judge-free zone. We're all in the same battle together. So don't be hesitant to chime in.
Okay.
Yes, Megan, please.
Okay. One of my favorite parts about this was when it was talking about the success seeds and how especially with mentoring our coaches, is that, sometimes we have to remember when we think they have a lack of motivation, or they don't know what direction they're going, or they, maybe we think they're tapped out or tuned out. The reality is they just they can't find it in themselves. And it's not, and as long as we found it within ourselves, we can help others find it within themselves. And it also kind of linked in with the other part, with the success seeds, with helping them find their, how we help plant it. And then we have to fertilize it. We can't just tell them, oh, this is where you're going to go. You have the potential, you're going to succeed. We have to nurture that seed, and we have to help them and continue to help them through the process and to believe in the process, just like we did. And then it's going to blossom before our eyes. And that also it talked about how people are naturally motivated. And I thought that was really interesting, because it talks about how people have an innate sense of motivation. But the thing is that it said most adults, it has been beaten down. So by the time they're adults, it's not there, but really we all do have it. It's been beaten down by lack of support, busyness, stress, bad attitudes, lack of appreciation, scarce resources, or whatever. Think about when we came into coaching, a lot of us came in because of whatever reason. We wanted that fulfillment. Maybe it was wanted to leave your job, or whatever the reason may be. We had something that was lacking, maybe, or maybe we wanted to get back into shape. So we all had something. And I can even identify when I read that, some of the things that my coaches had, because I have coaches, they're I never ever would have believed in myself, or they didn't have that motivation. And it's our job to remotivate those people. It's not that they're necessarily not motivated. It's our job to remotivate them.
That was awesome.
To help them overcome the old things that knock them down. And I think a lot of times we're oh, well, they're just not motivated. I'm totally guilty. I will admit it. But the reality is, I really found that interesting, because I've never been I've just always looked at people you're either motivated or you're not. So
I love that. And that's something that we talk about all the time. Megan said I just got off a call with her, and we mentioned that how you can give them everything to be successful. And you're just go do it. But we need to understand that it falls back to the page one. You need to focus on them. You need to focus on what they're going through. You can't just say, look, you're either going to do it or not. Here's everything you need to be successful. That's not how mentoring works. That's not how leadership works. Laura, you have something to say.
Yeah, I was just going to say that I liked when it said people will follow you if they believe in you. And that is both with coaching, our coaches and also our challengers and recruiting people. I talk a lot with my coaches about that they have to know your story and believe in it. And I know that last year I wasn't as great about sharing my story and having people understand things that I've either overcome or different challenges. So getting my coaches to see what I'm doing and having them do the same thing so that people can buy into them, because they have to, I love they have to know, like, and trust you before they'll buy into you. So if they're having trouble signing up business builders, or they're having hitting Success Club, it's probably because people are having a hard time buying into them and they're not being authentic with what they're putting out there. So having your coaches believe in you, and also having your challengers believe in what you're doing, just being authentic as a leader.
Perfect. So we're diving in now into pages 4 and 5, and honestly, and keeps on going. But why many people don't mentor others. Did anybody have anything to say about the insecurity, the ego, on those first parts? Any highlighted parts? Yeah, Chana.
Basically, it just goes right off of what Laura was saying about how could that people have to believe in you before. Well, people will follow you if they believe in you. Basically, I have to be honest and say personal development is the last thing on my list. And I've been a coach now for 3 years, and I totally know that it's the wrong thing. And that is 100% why I'm here right now. I love that you changed these groups over to personal development, because it's really going to force me to do it. But, how can I tell my coaches that they need to do the vital behavior personal development if I'm not? So that's really my number one thing. They trust me. They know I follow my nutrition, not 100%, but we're all human. I do my workouts, drink my Shakeology, but they know I'm not doing it, because I can't lie. I'm not going to, put myself out there and be a liar. So that's why I'm here today, and I will be here next Tuesday and the Tuesday after. I need to grow myself so I can help others grow as well. That's basically it.
Perfect. Thank you.
And if you want to talk about insecurity really fast, I'll talk about that too. That part really hit me. I think my whole life I've been insecure, and Beachbody has definitely helped me with that. But as far as being a leader, yeah, I'm a fallen 3-star diamond coach, but I never considered myself a leader, ever. I've always felt like I was a follower. So when people are saying, you're the leader, you do this, you do that, I'm like, how am I the leader, you know? And I also think it goes right back down to personal development. If I grow myself and, you know, strengthen what I need, I'll be able to help other people as well. That's it.
Perfect. Thank you. Anybody else have anything with the insecurity? Okay. On ego. I love that he starts out by saying some people's egos are so huge that they either have to be the bride at the wedding or the corpse at the funeral. You know, the complete opposite of what you just said. But they say, like, I'm just too important to worry about the people down below. Look, you just need to do it. That having a big ego in this company, I promise you will not get you anywhere. Because you're not relatable. People can't see you as a leader. They simply see you as somebody who's high up, and you probably did whatever to get that high, and that's something that I can't do. The more relatable that you can be in your organization and show the rawness and the oopses and the failed attempts, but also the successes, that's what's going to attract people to your organization. So whatever ego you have, get rid of it. It's not going to work here at Beachbody. Any other points on the ego, guys? And Megan, you talked about the seeds already. Does somebody have anything else to say with the seeds? I loved what you had to say with that. No? Okay. So let's jump then. I guess anything else on those first little bit? I'll mention something on page 7, the lack of training. This is a big one for me. So anybody professional network marketer before you came into this business? No, exactly. And when you came onto this, you probably didn't understand network marketing. You may not even have known that we are a network marketing company, but you were thrown into this, and you get used to things. You guys have been around long enough that you understand how network marketing works now, but you need to go back and remember the times and how you felt when you didn't have that training. And you need to understand that people are going through that right now. And even though you understand it, you have the experience, you need to have that compassion and understanding that they haven't gone through this yet. So let's talk about this really quick. What are some things that you guys do as far as training goes to make sure that brand new coaches, people who want to do this business, see that they have adequate training? Sarah.
Yeah, thanks for asking a question. I think I read the wrong book, but this is great. No, I ended up getting the whole complete series, and I started, I think, on just the wrong book, but this is awesome. So thank you all for helping me with notes. But so yeah, something I did and I still continue to do is I create all the invites or the events and help them with scripts. And I feel like it's almost like that togetherness and knowing that, you know, I will have their backs and letting them, like, having them do things, but also letting them know that, hey, it's okay. You're going to be an intern coach for as long as you want. And I feel like that kind of lets them know, like, oh, I don't have all this pressure behind me, because that was something that kind of scared me for the good 6 months of my business. I was really scared to do it on my own. So I feel like that's kind of what helps them, give them a sense of like, no, we are a team. We're doing this together. So yeah, I hope that helps.
No, thank you. Anybody else? You guys, I know you guys do trainings. This time to speak up. Let's put it out there. Katie.
I'll go. We do a couple things. We have our new coach training with mini videos, like mini video series. And each video is like less than 5 minutes. And we go through the foundations basically of coaching. But I think the real training is like sort of like what Sarah was saying. We have a free clean eating group and then followed by a paid group. That's sort of our system. So I bring my coaches right along with me, and when they're ready, they jump in a group with me and they run it with me. We work really closely behind the scenes together. We also do live power hours where we get on a Zoom call basically and share my screen, and they see exactly what I'm doing during my power hour. So they see, what my invites look like, what my hey girl messages look like. They see, my list of prospects and who I'm going to invite that day. So we do that. That's kind of like our new coach introduction. So while I think the new coach training is great, I think everyone needs a foundation. I think that getting thrown into it and working really closely with me and seeing what I do is where like the magic happens.
Perfect. Thank you. Yeah, Megan, please.
I start my new coaches out with a new coach training center. So it's kind of self-directed where they go in and they do the first 6 steps by themselves. And that basically goes through a new coach training video that talks about like challenge pack, success club, just getting started and announcing you're a coach. And then there's examples of how to announce you're a coach, or I can do a new coach announcement for you. Then we start talking about the importance of posting a couple times a day. I forget the 5th step. And then the 6th step is to request to go into the new coach training academy when you're ready. And then they go into the new coach training academy. That's 21-day live training with me. And my coaches can put their coaches in there, my PS coaches and the coaches I mentor directly. I found the live trainings to be very beneficial because you can kind of tell who's in and who's out. I do new coach training calls as well. I did do them weekly for the 3 weeks. I will be cutting that down to 2 calls because I'm trying to simplify this year. But I did a poll with my team and they found those calls to be extremely effective. I would do one for the first week was like a GSR like welcome call and the expectations of the group. The second one was on inviting in social media. The third one was on objections and how to handle them. And if needed, I would have a last one that was kind of like an open Q&A. Rarely had to have them, but if I had a group that seemed like they were kind of struggling with things, I would have that 4th call. What I do is I apprentice them as coach apprentices in my group, and I have them for basically it ends up being 2 to 3 months because I say 2 to 3 challenge groups. And then I kick them out of the nest. And the reason I do that is because they need to kind of rise up to the occasion to see, if I don't kick them out of the nest, then they're never going to emerge on their own, is what I've come to realize. If my mentor never kicked me out of the nest, which she kicked me out a lot sooner, and I didn't have as much mentorship, I would never have been like, oh my gosh, I need to get more than 5 people for this challenge group or it's not going to work. So that was my whole mentality. Now, granted, I don't just like boot them. I do say like, hey, so how you feeling? Are you ready? And about after the first month, the second month, I'll have them do like a couple posts a week. Like, okay, I need you to post some clean eating recipes. If it's like busy mom boot camp, I want you to do family friendly recipes. First week, second week, I want you to do like motivational mom self-love quotes. Third week, like come up with your own topic. I want you to post 3 times a week. So they're actively interacting like a coach. So they don't just look like they're just in there motivating, you know what I mean? So I have them get more active through the couple of weeks that they're apprenticing. So that's become very effective with my the second half of the year. That's kind of where I shifted gears, and it's become very effective for my getting started right with my new coaches.
And I really like that. I failed to mention this at the beginning. You're going to have people's names pop in your head all of it, back and forth all the time while reading this book. Write those names down, guys. Megan talked about how she does this, but that's how she identifies them. And we need to identify who our leaders are. The whole purpose of this is not, we are supposed to mentor everybody, but we're supposed to mentor them at the level that they're at and help them grow to the next level. And so, I hope that you're as names pop into your mind, that you're writing them down and you're thinking, okay, how can I help this person with training? How can I help them with their sense of security, with their ego, with whatever they need, so that they can eventually leave the nest, so that they can become that leader within that team, within that organization. And this next section, guys, is where I want to spend the majority of our time is on what you need to know as you start. And I'm just going to read this first paragraph. So if you have the book, follow along. It's the bottom of page 7, leading on to page 8. If not, just listen. It says, raising people to a higher level and helping them be successful involve more than giving them information or skills. That's a big statement right there. If that were not the case, every new employee would go from trainee to success as soon as he understood how to do his job. Every child would be successful whenever she learns something new at school. But success doesn't automatically follow knowledge. The process is complicated because you're working with people. However, understanding some basic concepts about people opens the door to your ability to develop others. And then he goes on to examples. That right there is one of those aha moments for me. So many times I mentioned this. We talk to coaches and we say, "Well, here's everything," and then we kind of just let them do it at their own pace. Or we say, "Look, if you're a runner, you're going to run, and you'll figure this out. And if you're not, then I don't need you on my team." That's not how mentorship works. He said if this were the case, everybody would be successful. As soon as they learned it, they would be successful. But we understand that we're dealing with humans, and humans have these emotions, and they have the relationships, and they have the struggles, and all of those things. And so that leads us into these next things, how we can help develop others. Does anybody have anything to say before we jump into that about that?
Kevin, I just think that's one thing that I try to explain to my team, going back to recruiting, how just because you have one person, like as a new coach, you get so excited that one person's interested and they want to go through getting started right training, right? And it's like you see these new coaches like put all their eggs in this one person's basket. And I always try to have that like compassionate yet honest discussion with them that like out of 10 people that are going to go through this training, maybe 2 of them will still be coaching in 12 months, because we want to let these coaches know that it's going to be hard. And just because you go through the training and have the skills doesn't mean that you're going to all of a sudden still be consistent with social media 6 months down the road, right? And so I think that it just goes back to like always inviting people, because you have to have more people in the pot that could be coaches so that your A players rise to the top. And those are the ones that you target, when you get into like the 80-20 rule. So to me, that always goes like that statement right there is like, we've always got to be inviting, period.
Perfect. Anybody else has a response to that or a follow-up comment? That was really good, by the way, Tracy. Thank you. Okay, so then these next few categories, guys, are the things he wants us to focus on. Everyone wants to feel worthwhile. Everyone needs and responds to encouragement. People are naturally motivated, which we've touched on before. And then people buy into the person before buying into their leadership. What are your guys' thoughts on any of those topics? Liz.
I'll say on
Rose, and then Liz.
Sorry. The people buy into the person before buying into their leadership. I honestly didn't read it, but just reading that just made me think that you need to be friends with these people first. Like get them to know your life, get them to know your struggles. And I think that was one thing that, not that I was trying to be perfect, but I didn't want people to see that I struggle too, and I think like this past weekend I shared, just a bit of a struggle that I was going through personally, and it connected everyone, not just connected me to my coaches, but connected the whole kind of team together, and kind of created that like inner web, the strings that kind of attach to each other. So people need to get to know you personally before they're ever going to say, all right, I'm going to follow you in doing this.
And by following, it's not even just signing up, but it could be long-term following, which develops into them being a leader themselves. That's a big thing. And I do have a follow-up comment to that as well, Rose, but I'm going to have Liz go first.
Yeah, I was going to mention the same exact thing. Being relatable to the people, and really last year in 2016, I really focused on building a team culture within my team, and allowing that to, open myself up so that they could really get to know me and really get to know my journey as a coach. And it allowed me to really get to know them. And through that, we were able to not just share our coach journey together, but we were able to share our lives together. And that really connected us. And we could have conversations that aren't even about coaching, but somehow it translated over into their coaching business, and it motivated them more. And they had a more heartfelt connection to it. And people will go to work for something that's in their heart rather than, some, monetary goal or something like that.
Well said. If you guys have questions in regards to, I'm that's an area I'm struggling with. Do you guys have more opinions? Then please speak up, because that's the whole point of this, guys, is that we do better. This isn't just necessarily a reporting, what did you like to read, but let's get the conversation going. If you guys have something that is worth, stopping it and focusing specifically on. What I love about this last section here of people buy into the person before buying into their leadership is that first sentence. Many unsuccessful people who try to lead others have the mistaken belief that people will follow them because their cause is good. But that's not the way leadership works. People will follow you only when they believe in you. That principle applies even when you're offering to develop other people and raise them to a higher level. Thoughts? What are you guys' thoughts on that? Somebody give me feedback on that.
I have a question.
Yes.
So, I feel like my team and my customers, because I'm pretty open, like overly open sometimes with my social media, I think I've developed a really good following of people that believe in me and they know my story. And so my coaches and my customers, they follow me because they believe in me. So I feel like I have that piece down. Where I struggle tremendously is, I guess, this mentorship piece with the training, because when I started, my coach was brand new. She told me to go watch Mindy Wender videos on YouTube. I never did a challenge. I've never done a challenge group with her. There was no coach training. Like I jumped in, I ran a challenge group, having never done one before, I didn't know what the 21-day fix was. Like I just did it and figured it out. And I would say the top coach on my team, when she signs up with me, that was when I was like, oh crap, I better figure this out. But I couldn't really lead her. She just kind of figured it out too. So I know I sort of have this broken mentality of like, you guys can just figure it out. And I'm trying to fix that, but I don't have a role model. I don't have any mentor that's like sort of giving me this formula. Like Megan, what you said, I was like frantically writing it down, and I was like, oh, I have to go listen to the recording because like I don't have any of that stuff. So I don't know, it doesn't really relate to the book, but it's just interesting. Like the belief piece, yes, but the mentorship piece and like sort of having that role model, like Megan, you're giving your coaches like, this is the formula that works, go pass it on. Like I don't have that. Does that make sense at all?
I love that you're being honest and raw, Joy, about this, because I promise you, you're not alone in this. And what my takeaway, and I'll let others chime in as well, my response to that is you figured it out, and bless your heart for figuring it out, but I promise you the majority of people don't figure it out. The majority of people will say, well, I suck, or she sucks, or the system sucks, and then I'm out. And so if you would have wished that you would have received mentoring and training, then you need to do that for the people because they're wishing the same thing.
Oh, 100%. I guess what I'm trying to say is I feel like I'm recreating the wheel. I don't know what to give them because I didn't have it myself. It's not that I don't want to. I know that we need it, and I keep trying to do it and failing forward, and it's not the right thing. We're slowly getting there, We did make a leap, so I guess I'm doing something right. But, like, there's so much more that I know that I can give them. Like, listening again to Megan, I'm like, wow. Like, I don't know. I'm probably rambling.
Can I chime in real quick, Kevin? I know we don't have much time. So I'm where you're at, Joy. Sorry. It's been a very long morning. I don't have an upline. My upline asked to do my trainings and asked me to do her team calls. So like I had no mentorship. It was like, watch a YouTube video, do this, do that. And so I've created everything on my own, and I'm with you. I reinvent the wheel. But I'm someone, if it doesn't work, then I try something else. If that doesn't work, I try something else. So I think it's just about us figuring out what works as we go. And I think your team understands that too. Like you said, you did something right. You're elite. Like you're doing something right. So obviously something's working. But I think it's just kind of knowing, letting your team know, like, look, I'm doing this with you. I'm trying to figure out what's working alongside of you. And we're just going to do this together. And that's basically what I told my team. Like, I didn't have any of this stuff. So I'm kind of learning as I go as well. And I think, so I just want to let you know, you're not alone. I'm right there with you. I have no upline. I have no support. I'm in this 100% by myself. But at the end of the day, then we just remember that we built this team by ourselves. Like we figured it out on our own, and that's a huge accomplishment. That's a huge thing.
Yeah.
I love this. And this is, and to me, guys, this is the place where we share those ideas. This is the place where we say those exact things, Joy. I know I'm supposed to mentor, but I haven't been mentored, so I'm confused as what to do. This is where we chime in, and your response, Joy, is getting tons of comments, people saying I'm in the same boat. So other people who are in the same boat as Joy, guys, chime in, speak up. Let's hear what you're doing.
You guys, honestly, I can tell you something. For my upline gave me a 21-day like training, okay? And I looked at it and I messed with it and I switched it around a lot because I was like, this is like, I put in, it wasn't, it was 21 days and I was like, it's missing some pieces that I definitely think needed. So I played with it, okay? But the six, like my personal, that 6-step module thing, like that I created, that came from being on these calls from Samantha Holly? Is that her name?
Yeah.
That came from her. I didn't get that from my upline. It came from being on one of these calls last year when my business was in a really bad place. Like I hustled to get elite this year. Like Kevin can attest to it because he knows that I did it. Like it was like crazy the spin around I did to try to get my business back to where it needed to be. And I tested the waters and I did a lot of testing. And I took my 21-day training that was primarily Bombshell Dynasty because my personal sponsor coach is Lindsay Matway. She, and if I go to her, she gives me whatever. But I took that and I blended it with Kim Carver's training because I think Kim Carver is amazing and I think he's the coach whisperer. I blended that with my Lindsay Matway training. So, and my training that I had made. So I didn't really get it from my upline. And the reason I started doing coach calls was because I knew that Melanie Metro did coach calls every week. And that inspired me to do that because I knew she had some connection going with her coaches, getting them started right. And I knew she was doing something right. And I was like, I'm not doing these new coach calls. And I remember Kim saying, you need to be doing weekly coach calls. And I was like, dang it, I don't want another call. But I know I need to sacrifice to get these girls started right. When I started doing those, that's when I understand. Oh, no, I understand. But like literally, check out, but that's where I got Samantha Holly. Like, I don't know other people that are in, BD doing what I was doing with the 6-step. But I like doing that because I know that they can be in it and they can go and start when they're ready. They can start anytime during the month and sign on with me and they have something to get started with before the new coach training.
Perfect. Okay, guys, I know, and gosh dang it, I hate that we're out of time. But here's what I'm understanding. Here's the vibe I'm getting for most people is, I don't know what I'm doing. And I need help. And I'm excited about this book group. I feel like I don't have much to say, so I'm just going to listen. Guys, if you're going to change, you're going to have to do something. So here's what we're going to do. I told you that we need to put together an action plan. Whatever has gone through your mind, write it down. I want you to, even if your action step is, I need to do better at mentoring this year. And that's the goal. But let's put some things in the place of, okay, I'm going to try this. I'm going to reach out to my coaches. I'm going to put together something so my brand new signups have something they feel like they're supported. Or I need to figure out time. I need to find out what time I have so that I can give support rather than recruiting. How can I nurture and recruit it? All of those things. You don't have to have it finalized by the next time, but let's put together something. What I want you to do is go into our Facebook group page, post your thoughts, post your action plan, post your goal, and then let's support each other. Guys, this pod, this group we have right here, we can make each other so much better, as Megan has attested to this. We can do this. I want you guys to do it. We have 15 seconds to put a timer. Go. Let's make this the best next few weeks. Awesome. We'll see you in 2 weeks. You can watch the recording again if you want. Love you guys. Post your comments. We'll see you then. Thanks, everybody.